Hey, I'm John Garrido, and this is my wife Anna.
Garrido.
Yeah, so we founded the Garrido Rescue Foundation back in 2017. The foundation came together as a result of a dog named Pedro that we rescued in 2014 from Belize. Making a very long story short, there was a dog, a Doberman, that started. You want to talk too? There was a Doberman that started following Anna down the beach in Belize, followed us all the way into town, and we got him some food, and then we realized he needed some medical attention. Long story short, we ended up driving him a 2-hour boat ride from Belize to the southern tip of Mexico, and then driving him all the way through Mexico, where Anna crossed over to the border and met us at the Mexico-Texas border, and then we drove him back home to Chicago.
But that took 45 days prior to
Yeah, it was a long, that was the shortened version. It was a very, very long
because for 45
process.
days we tried to figure out how we're going to get him back to the States because we couldn't fly him because of the temperature. Two, he was so sneaky, and then he was able to get out of a crate, so we couldn't do that either. And then three, he had anemia, so he had medical condition and couldn't be flown. So.
Right, so during that whole process, we put it on, the whole journey was on Facebook. So that really started to develop quite a network. So by the time we got home, we realized that we had this big following that was following Pedro. So what would happen is an animal would come into the police station, and I would post it on Facebook, and surprisingly it would get shared hundreds of times, and we were finding their owners. So we were able to avoid sending them to animal control, which that was the policy, the department policy, and it still is, but we've been able to modify it since we started, is that when an animal comes into the into any Chicago police station, we scan it to see if it has a microchip or if it has any tags. If we're unable to locate the owner that way, then we are to notify animal control. The previous way was only animal control, and the dog had to go there within 8 hours. The new way, since this kind of developed organically where animals were coming in, we partnered up with Dr. Sakis, who he passed away for COVID in 2020. Actually, today is the 2-year anniversary of the loss of Dr. Sakis. So we partnered up with him, and he would allow us to bring in dogs for medical attention and not charge us, or if he did charge us, he would put it on credit, and we didn't have to pay right away. He actually let us have a credit up to $20,000, so we would run a credit tab of about $18,000 to $19,000, and then we would just pay it when we could, and then slowly people started making donations to help out with that. We also partnered up with the Dog House, 6460 North Milwaukee, and some dogs would come in really matted. We would get them groomed for free, or they would hold on to them for a while. So all this came together, and so many dogs started coming in. We were able to work together with Animal Control to become a stray hold approved rescue, which means when a dog comes to us, it's just as if they're going to Animal Control. So we're bound by the same laws that they are, but it helps divert them from Animal Control. We also were able to get the policy changed with the Chicago Police Department and add in that officers could send an animal to Animal Control or a stray hold approved rescue. So a dog can go to us or a cat, or they can go to Paws Chicago, Animal Welfare League, several other stray hold rescues, or Treehouse if it's a cat. So that has helped us, on average, divert about 300 animals a year from going to Animal Control, that they've been able to come through our rescue and get back home to their families. We have actually, because of this network, an 89% return to owner rate. And to give you an idea, the Animal Control has a 23 to 27% return to owner rate. So, and it's not any fault of their own. Animal Control is doing the best they can, but they're just getting inundated with animals that come in on a regular basis. So for us to be able to do this, most of these dogs are found within, in the country, a dog can travel for miles. Here, sometimes they're picked up right in front of their own home, and then somebody will, bring them in. So we've been really, really lucky and been able to get them home. Our rescue has expanded and grown. We've got over 16,000 people that are part of the network, and if you add that with my personal page network, we're probably up almost 30,000 people that are actually part of this. When we share these animals, they get shared 300 to 500 times, and like I said, we're able to find their families right away. The dogs that we can't find their families, then we partner up with other rescues, or we also do adoptions on our own. It's also expanded into court advocacy. There was a few animals that started coming in where they were victims of abuse from their owners, and we were fortunate enough to be able to participate with the law enforcement, with other officers, and make arrests in these cases. The first one was Ethan.
Ethan.
So the first one was a dog named Ethan, who looks just like him, but about 15 pounds heavier. And Ethan was, the owner moved out of his apartment and left the dog behind and didn't tell anybody. So he was in there for 2 weeks, basically just starving to death. He got to the point where he couldn't get to the toilet to get water anymore, and the lady that lived downstairs from the apartment heard a scratching noise, so she got nervous. She thought somebody was up there and shouldn't be, so she called the police. Officers arrived, and they found this poor little dog. He was about 6 to 8 months old, and he was literally skin and bones. He could barely even lift up his head.
He was 12 pounds at the time, and he should have been 40.
12 pounds, and he should have been 40, right?
my
So,
God.
so they brought him into the station. I put him into the squad car and drove him straight to Dr. Sakis at Niles Animal Hospital, and I didn't think he was going to survive the car ride to the animal hospital. That's how bad he was. Thankfully, Dr. Sakis was able to save him. Ethan is a walloping 60 pounds today and couldn't be any friendlier, but that's the start of our court advocacy. Yeah. That's the start of our court advocacy. See, he's excited about it.
And Mitch and Joyce are frequent, actually almost 100% participants, right?
Right here, yeah.
Court cases.
Yeah, they come in. So it developed where, with Ethan's case, the first time we had people show up to court, there was about 15, 20 people, or maybe more than that, showed up at court. But that was the first time when they called the case, everybody just stood in silence, but this entire courtroom stood up. And I've been to court a lot as a police officer, and to have that kind of backup where you just have that many people that are standing up that you know that they're for the case. And we're not there to change the outcome of the cases, we're just to ensure that the right thing is done. And so many cases slip through the cracks because the system is so overburdened. So we're there to make sure that the state's attorneys and the judges and everybody know that there are people watching and we're paying attention. And because of that, we've been given unprecedented access to be able to communicate with the state's attorney's office and let them know that we're basically there as another team member for this. And it's been very, very successful. So Ethan's owner was found guilty. He got 2 years. It was only probation, but that was our start. The biggest one we got, a guy that just got, do you remember?
4 years.
How many years did he get?
4 years.
4 years. This offender poured boiling water over his dog for 30 minutes and he did that because he was sexually abusing his niece.
And he's not in Cook County Jail, it's downstate.
He's downstate, okay. So these cases have built to the point where right before COVID, we were getting as many as 100 people were showing up for these court cases. We have one right now, we have several that are going on right now. A big one, though, is the offender actually killed his ex-girlfriend's 8-month-old min pin.
Yeah.
The dog's name was Bailey. He crushed it. It's a horrible, horrible case. So he's coming up on April 18th, and this is the first time we're going to be allowed people to go back into the courtroom again. So it's at Skokie. We post all this stuff on our Facebook page, and anybody who wants to come out and join us, we just ask that when you show up for these cases, when the case is called, you just stand silently. And then regardless of what's said or what the outcome may be, even if it's something you disagree with, we still remain respectful and silent because we don't want to get ourselves to the point where we can't.
You said it's in Skokie?
It's in Skokie, April 18th. Mitch, do you know the room?
I'll get the room.
Okay. So these two dogs. I'll start with Chico here.
Room 108.
Room 108.
108.
Room 108, Skokie on April 18th, 9 a.m.
I have it at 9:30.
9:30. But you want to get there earlier, so you have to go through the metal detector and all that.
We will post that.
And we'll also post it up on our Facebook page.
Make sure you have any knives in your purses.
Leave your
No
pepper
weapons.
spray at home too.
That's it, yeah.
They will not let you through.
Oh, seriously, a lot of people have pepper spray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Chico. Chico is 8 years old. His owner walked into the 25th district and said, I've had him since he was a puppy. I'm done with him. and he just dropped him off and left. He's not happy about it either. Yeah. Rubble is very, very, very vocal.
He's very entertaining, I must say.
Yeah, he is, yeah. So this poor guy was abandoned by his family. We took him in, and he's been staying at the doghouse over at 6460 North Milwaukee. So he is available for adoption. He's a great dog. He's a little shy at first, but in no time, once he gets to know you, he's really, really very lovable, and he's a cute dog. This here is Rubble.
Oh, boy.
All the information I'm going to tell you is because based on our investigation, we were able to communicate with his actual owner, and we were able to communicate with the owner's, I guess it's his girlfriend, but the mother of his 2 children. And so we got a lot of this information. They had Rubble since he was a puppy. They used to live here in Chicago. They then moved to Virginia. They came here for a few weeks ago. They came here to visit their sister who still lives here in Chicago. And the way Rubble came to us is somebody said that they found him about to walk into the street at Harlem and Foster. So they brought him to us. What we do know is that the owner told his girlfriend that he was taking Rubble for a walk, and when he came back he didn't have Rubble, and he told her that he dropped Rubble off at a shelter. So we don't know if the person, because we didn't get the name, so we don't know if the person who brought him into the 16th district was actually the owner himself turning the dog in, or if he just dropped him off in the parking lot over by Pet Supplies Plus, thinking that a pet owner might pick him up. There's a lot of people that do that. They'll drop dogs. Usually they tie him up, but he wasn't tied up, so he was, if in fact he was wandering loose, that's what happened. Once we got his vet records, we learned more about him. So these types of dogs have lots and lots of medical issues. So he has seizures. He takes medicine twice a day for that. His seizures are currently under control. I talked to his owner on a Sunday, and he was trying to give me the line that he dropped the dog off at a shelter, and then I asked him, when he told me about the seizures, I said, when did he last get his medication? He told me Friday morning, and then he sent me a text of the picture of the full jar of medication, clearly indicating he didn't drop the dog off anywhere, as he would have dropped the medication off with it. But the next day, we took him to the vet to get checked out, and he actually had a seizure at the clinic at Portage Park Animal Hospital. But since he's been back on the medication, he hasn't had any more
We took seizures. him to Blooper actually, so he could.
Well, right, so he started, his next issue was throwing up. He was vomiting a lot and he was losing weight. So we took him to Blue Pearl. They tried to do an ultrasound and x-rays, but the problem with him was if you flipped him over on his back, he would stop breathing. He had what later determined to be bronchitis, so he was getting a lot of nasal discharge. And so he spent a few days at Blue Pearl. Once we got him out of there, we got medication for that. His next problem is he was urinating blood. That's because he has bladder stones. They did some testing, so we're hoping that we changed his diet. There's a special food that you can give him, and we give him other medication to try to break it up. And we're hoping that that resolves itself on its own. I haven't seen blood in a few days, so I'm hoping that that's getting better.
He has only 1 stone, so hopefully that will resolve.
Yeah. Then, next thing is what you're all hearing and what we all interpret as cute. And it is. It's cute and it's crazy, entertaining and everything, but the noises he's making is because he's having trouble breathing. So Rubble has, usually with these types of dogs, this procedure that's done is usually done when they're 3 to 4 months old. It's significantly cheaper and easier to do for them. But since he's going to be 4 in July, this was let go for a long time. So he's literally struggling to breathe, and that's why you're hearing those noises.
It's a brachiopharyngeal syndrome.
That.
Is this similar to sleep apnea?
A little, I guess probably, but what it is it's there's like extra skin that's in the throat that's blocking everything. So if it's not taken care of when they're super young, then a secondary problem can develop in their nasal cavity. So we don't know exactly, we definitely know obviously his throat has issues. We don't know if the nasal part's going to be an issue. So tomorrow morning, he's going to Blue Pearl in Northfield, where they're going to, he's going to be prepared for surgery. They'll do an evaluation to see exactly what he needs, if he just needs the throat surgery or if he's also going to need the nasal surgery. And hopefully, they're gonna be able to fix him tomorrow and get that taken care of. And then he's gonna breathe like he never could breathe before. And then, of course, he might get a snip snap party. And so
Yeah, we don't know if.
when he wakes up, he's gonna be like, I can breathe so much, and who knew that was the problem? So.
T-shirt. I could breathe better now.
Right.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, now he's embarrassed. So, the snip snap party will be determined by how long it takes them. They don't want to keep them under too long.
Right.
So depending on how much work they have to do on the breathing end of it, we'll decide if they're going to actually neuter them. That can always wait. So, they can fix them later if that turns out
With
to be
the
the
bladder
case.
stone.
And hopefully the bladder stone breaks up, because if the bladder stone doesn't break up, then they're going to have to do a surgery for that as well. So this boy's got a lot going on, but that is the one thing that we are amazed with this network and this rescue. Because of the generosity of so many people, we're able to make medical decisions on these dogs based on need and not cost. So, for example, his 2 days at Blue Pearl Northfield, that was $3,000. And his estimated cost for his surgery tomorrow is going to be another $6,000. That's just for the breathing part. But he's probably going to be a $10,000, $11,000 dog once we've got him fixed. But thankfully, we have, what started off as us using our own money in the beginning back in 2017 has completely changed now. And it's not that we have like one person giving us $5,000 and $10,000 donations. We have so many people giving anywhere from $5, $10, $20, $100, and it just adds up, and we're able to do things like this. The most expensive dog, I guess, would be Margie.
$23,000.
She was a dog that was found on a search warrant, and she had swallowed 2 baby nipples, and they got lodged in her intestines and actually cut off the circulation. So,
And 2 pacifiers.
did I say pacifiers?
No.
What did I say? I don't remember. I think I might have missed.
How, did they have to do an
so
X-ray
they
to
had to
find
go
out
in-
if the dog swallowed it? How did they know what was
Well,
down
because
there?
she was sick. She was lethargic. There was a problem with blockage and stuff. So when they did the ultrasound, they could see that there was blockage. They didn't know they were pacifiers until they actually got in there. Once they got them out, there was one surgery that was done. And if you can imagine, when you separate and take out a section of the colon and they got to sew it back together, that's extremely thin. And what can happen is if the seal breaks, then all that stuff goes into the body and it gets sepsis. So it didn't work, so she had to have a second one, so we rushed her.
Sepsis.
She did, yeah, so we had to rush her to Blue Pearl Northfield. So she ended up costing a total of
$23,000.
$23,000.
Yeah, but with his surgeries, it's gonna be up there too.
Yeah, so with her, think about this, $23,000 for her, and she's living
Yeah.
perfect. She's a healthy dog. She lost 60% of her intestines, but she's doing great. So for us, some people would say, well, if you didn't spend that kind of money on that dog, how many other dogs could you save? And for us, we could say all of them, because we don't have to say we're not going to take care of that one to take care of the next one. We take care of each dog individually, everything that they need, whatever they need, they will get no matter what the cost, and that means then when the next one comes along, it's going to be the same thing. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's going to be the same thing, so.
Every life is worth saving, right?
That's right. So, we love it. We're passionate about it. We're, based here on the northwest side. You're all part of the network. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us to help us with this network. We also do microchipping events when we can to try to help and give back to the community. Lost Dogs Illinois donates the microchips to us, and what they're not able to donate, then we purchase the rest. We did one at Merino Jeep that we were able to microchip. How many?
Over 500 dogs.
We're going to do another one. We're working with Merino Jeep to do a festival right over here on Milwaukee Avenue, right next door to True Value, just north of the hardware store there, in that big parking lot. And so we're going to do a microchipping event in there. That'll probably be Saturday or Sunday, June 25th and 26th. So one of those 2 days we'll do microchipping.
Has your organization reached out to the Chicago Wolves for donations?
They have donated to us in the past. Yeah, they in the beginning, early on, they had donated to us several times, and they were good donations, right? 5,000. a few $5,000 donations.
Yes.
Right. We haven't received anything recently, but that's okay. I mean, we're grateful.
Gave you
for what
good
we
seed
got.
money.
Yes.
And he does a lot with other,
Right.
a lot of other rescue
so many
organizations
rescues.
as well.
Yes.
So,
So we understand, and
We
we're happy that
understand,
he's
yeah.
helping everybody else.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, yes.
John, when someone goes to court, like the guy you got him for abuse, do you also try to get some money back for him, for the dogs? Or-
So we have so we have a dog named Ollie.
Yep.
So Ollie's owner decided that he was gonna have Ollie euthanized, but the day before he was supposed to bring him in, he decided he was gonna try to kick him to death. Neighbors saw, people intervened, police were called, he was arrested, the dog was taken to animal control. I found out about it when I came into work the next day, reached out to animal control, he was still alive. I was able to go there and get him out of there and take him to, we also use Premier Veterinary over on Belmont, just east of Pulaski. We got him in there, he spent about 3 or 4 weeks in there, and then he's just been in and out of hospitals. We were making progress, he was starting to walk in because he fractured his spine. He was starting to walk a little bit, but then he went the other direction. So we've had him since July of last year, and
June 13th, actually.
June 13th is the first date, right? So it's pretty much determined now he won't be able to walk. We tried water therapy. He goes in for acupuncture every 2 weeks.
Stem cells.
Stem cell shots. We're doing everything for him, but it doesn't look like he'll ever
And
walk
Joyce
again.
is helping daily.
Yeah.
About 3 times, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So our foster, we have helpers like Joyce. They go over there and visit and help out with Ollie. And I call him Alligator because Ollie, for whatever reason, wants to bite me on a regular basis.
Yep.
He hated swimming, and so I think he's never forgiven me for bringing him there and dropping him into a pool. So every time I try to put him in and out of the car, he's always trying to get me. I mean, he's literally like a giant snapping alligator on the end of a harness for me. Joyce, how's he with you?
He has his moments. Most of the times he just wants the rub down, and he's fine. He's very calm after he gets his rub down.
Yeah,
And treats.
if
He
I'm
loves
not
his
moving him
treats.
anywhere,
Yeah.
he's fine. It's when I've got to move him from, and usually anytime I'm dealing with him, I've got to move him from point A
He
to
has the
point
back
B.
wheel braces, right?
What's that?
He has back wheel braces.
He does. So a friend of mine who lives down south, he donated for us to buy a wheelchair for him. So when he's in that, he loves it, right?
He loves it. We went for a nice long walk this morning. So he just loves that thing. He gets to
Because-
water all the
Makes him
the
feel like a
plants.
dog again, and, walk.
He
So-
can't lift his leg, but he waters them.
With that, in answer to your question, so that offender was caught, he got 2 years probation, and he was supposed to, although we spent about $15,000 on Ollie, the court ordered him to pay us back $8,000. We have yet to receive a penny, or 7?
Yeah.
Sorry. She knows all the acronyms. I'm in the roundabout ballpark
You
here.
can
yeah.
tell who does the administrative stuff.
Yes, yeah. So he's supposed to start paying us back. Matter of fact, now that you brought that up, that's a good question. I'm gonna call them to find out what the deal is, because we haven't received any money yet from him. So the way it's set up is he's supposed to pay the court, and then the court will pay us, but nothing's come in yet. So sometimes we get that. And that's it. And what we would ask, though, is anytime if you see a dog that you like, and if you send in an application or anything, just realize it's literally, while we do have a lot of supporters out there and a lot of people that are willing to help us, it's mostly just the 2 of us, plus our full-time jobs and everything. So we may not get back to you right away or quickly. Anna does 100% of the administrative stuff, where she's up every night till 1 o'clock in the morning doing all this stuff. So it's an incredible amount of work. So we try the best we can. We might not be super responsive. We're not ignoring you. It's just, there's just a lot going on. I'm lucky I get to do the Facebook Lives and be the pretty face.
We will argue that one.
Okay, all right. So I get the easy part. She has
You
the
just called
hard
me
part.
ugly in public. That's
I did
okay.
not. I just get to be the public face of the rescue.
No,
Yeah.
don't worry. That's
Yeah,
right.
no slaps.
Yeah, exactly.
No
No public
slaps.
slapping allowed, so. All right, so, I don't know, anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, what is your experience with older dogs? how much more work to give him, like my little guy is 15, the Scotty, and he does have bad teeth. And I should probably do that, they've told me that. Is that still a viable thing?
Yeah, so it all depends. Every dog is different. The biggest thing is their heart condition, if they have a heart murmur or not. If they don't have a heart murmur, we've done surgeries on dogs 15, 16 years old, remove tumors from dogs the size of a grapefruit, I mean, from them, and they're fine. Of course, with any surgery, there's always a risk, but you have to look at what's the outcome, right? So if a dog has super bad teeth, they can develop all kinds of medical issues from having bad teeth. So sometimes it's better to take that risk to put them under to get their teeth pulled and cleaned and fixed up, and then you might extend their life for 2 or 3 years, as opposed to not doing it. And also, it's just uncomfortable. I mean, for them to live like that, depending on how bad their teeth are.
Before they do it, right?
They do. They usually do. A lot of them are doing what's it called?
Well,
A heart.
yeah, they do the cardiology, EKG, but the whole cardiologist, it's a scam, I call it a scam.
So you could take the same dog to
Yeah.
3 different vets, and one will listen and tell you he's got a level 1 heart
Right.
murmur, and the other one will tell you a level 2 heart murmur, level 3 heart murmur. Because we have so many dogs going into so many different vets on a regular basis, we can notice when a trend changes. If you, as a pet owner, might not notice because you're just taking your one dog a few times a year, but we've noticed that almost all the veterinarians, it's almost as if they got a memo and said, start recommending heart scans,
Right.
which is about $1,000. So they've all started doing that lately, so.
So if a vet tells you that, just maybe, it's not that the vet is wrong. Just
They're
take the
being
dog,
extra cautious.
right, just take the dog to, maybe for a second.
It's hard to find another Dr. Sakis
Right.
out there, so,
It is.
unfortunately.
They said they would do a blood test before, so the blood test isn't $1,000.
No. That echo is, but I mean, if the vet listens and there's no heart murmur, there's no reason to have that other test done. So, but it's definitely, it's good to do. I mean, if you can, if the dog's healthy enough for the procedure, yeah.
And there are ways that the dog doesn't have to be completely pulled out for the dental surgery.
Right, the anesthesia, they can do different types where it's just, where it's breathing, so like if something's going wrong, as soon as they take it off, the dog will wake up, as opposed to putting them under the other way where they're
Full
knocked
anesthesia.
out. So there's a lot of things that different vets can do. Anybody else? No? Well,
But a good dentist, Dr. T'Challa is excellent, so.
Dr. DeChala at Portage Park Animal Hospital, we work a lot with Portage Park.
Yeah. She's a
Yeah, she's
excellent
a very good dentist,
Yeah.
yes. Excellent. Yes?
Where is the shelter located?
It's not. So we're foster-based, so we don't have a brick-and-mortar facility. We work together with several boarding facilities. We've got the dog house up here. We also, we have a dog right now. If anybody's interested, we have a shepherd, a German shepherd that's going to be up for adoption here. She's at Tops Kennel in Grays Lake. They do a lot of the training of some of the bigger dogs for us. And then fosters. That's another thing. We're always losing our fosters because we joke that we've got an 89% return to owner rate, but a 98% foster fail rate. And foster fail means, yeah, exactly, because a foster is you're supposed to take the dog in, and then when it's ready to go, you let
Say
somebody else adopt it.
goodbye.
A foster fail means you kept the dog, which it's impossible to get. I mean, we've got 3 foster fails in our house right now, and number 4 is possibly on deck. So. He follows me everywhere. Did you see him?
Yeah, it's good.
And he's so handsome.
I can't wait to hear how he sounds when he gets
Yeah.
fixed. If he's going to be he's probably going to be just like, wow, what's all this air doing? So he's such a good boy. That's the wrong end to show the audience. Very good. So, show these cameras.
John, do you run into trouble at all with having a foster that if somebody looks and somebody wants the dog, but the foster wants to keep the dog?
So to avoid, we did in the beginning, so we've stopped that. So now what we do is the foster has the first right of refusal. So When the dog is ready for adoption, we go to the foster and say, do you want to adopt this dog? Because then we're gonna look for a
Okay.
home for it, so they get the first option. That's
If
why.
they say they don't want to keep them,
Yeah, so those fees that you hear, those numbers that I'm giving you,
With
that's with the discount. So and they do, they give us, I mean, Dr. Sakis probably gave us the best discounts, but,
Dr. Zakas used to give us 25%, Blue Pearl is giving us 20%. Portage is on set fee schedule, so we don't really know how much we get, but they do give us a discount, they take care of us.
right, probably the best right now is probably Dr. Serpico at Rising
Dr.
Sun.
Serpico, yes.
He actually, his mentor was Dr. Sakis, and he's been pretty amazing, and he doesn't even charge us.
Do you
half
take
the
them to
time.
the animal hospital on, I think it's California? Used to.
MedVet?
Yeah, MedVet.
They're a very, very good hospital, because we just became partial to other emergency vets, so we use Blue Pearl in Northfield, and we use Premier on Belmont, east of Pulaski, so we don't take any dogs to MedVet.
It's also convenient for us as well,
They're closer.
because they're closer to us, and with us, working full-time, and sometimes we don't have anybody who would transport a dog for us. We have to basically do it ourselves, so we choose the easiest route, right? The best hospital for the easiest route.
Yeah.
Like, we won't go to Blue Pearl in Skokie, but we will go to Blue Pearl in Northfield. It's because we developed a relationship with the doctors there, and we really love that hospital. So-
And they have a picture of my cousin hanging on their wall.
That's-
My cousin, she owns Wet Nose, which is, they were in Oak Brook, but now they're just in Geneva Commons. And somehow a picture of her and her dog became one of those just wall art. I go in there, I was like, Sheila? And so, here, you, come here. Yeah. So, yeah, we like it there. So we're, two places to find us are, we have our website is GarridoStrayRescue.org, and our Facebook page is Garrido Stray Rescue Foundation. 99% of our activity is going to be on the Facebook page. So the dogs seldom get to the website. That's where you would go for filling out an application to be a foster or to adopt a dog, or if you want to make a donation, you can do a donation at the website. You can also make the donations at our Facebook page. But the Facebook page is where all of our activity happens. That's where whenever we find a dog, we post it and it gets shared from there. That's also where when dogs are ready for adoption, whenever we need transports, we'll put requests out there. People ask all the time how they can help and volunteer. Just watch our page, and we're always putting up, that we need help with this or we need help with that, and then, we'll get you set up. Yeah, Eva?
No, I was just gonna say, look at the group that made some donations.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We
If anybody
appreciate
else
that so
wants
much.
to donate anything, just come on over here.
Thank you very much.
For Rebel for tomorrow.
So Rumble, Rumble gets his surgery tomorrow, so. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you for talking to us about the Rescue Foundation.
We've done.
So before we adjourn the meeting, I just want to remind everybody that there's
Thank you.
coffee and snacks back there. We stay after the meeting and talk as long as you guys want.
If I could say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not through the rescue. I know these three candidates, they're outstanding people. Definitely check them out, consider them. We know, as you all know, that I believe elections are very important, and we end up, when voters don't vote, we end up with what we have, so.
All right.